All right, everybody, I'm going to talk about Lesson 13, Aesthetics of Solidarity in Action. So the main lesson for this week was talking about empowerment. 1970s feminist filmmakers used personal narratives to challenge systematic oppression, amplifying marginalized voices. So this whole week is kind of talking about marginalized voices, and it's kind of what's looked at in film. They also put an importance on urgency. The raw visuals of the film and the authentic interviews drove solidarity in action. So they were trying to drive the urgency of activism through these documentaries. Then lastly, the lasting impact. These films wanted to inspire modern grassroots media to resist just structural violence and advocate for justice. So they wanted to like pave a way for justice. So the first film we watched was the Woman's Film. It was in 1971, and it captures working class women's grievances as they intimidate group discussions and POV interviews. So it talks about women and how they're struggling in the modern society. They also weave tapestries of shared feminist struggles across race and class. They didn't focus on one class, they focused on a multiple variety of classes. And it's important because it was a landmark of second wave feminism, and it showcased marginalized voices, and it used raw aesthetics to foster solidarity and I wanted to challenge the patriarchy with this film. Some of the lasting effects, it had reflective styles that influenced contemporary activism filmmaking. So it paved a way for a lot of activism films. And they wanted to prioritize voices in advocating for gender and social justice. Second film we watched was Teach Our Child. And it documents the 1971 Attic Prisons rebellion impact, and it used raw footage from this event to highlight Black and Puerto Rican community struggles. It was important because its approach exposed systematical racial injustice. It showcased this a lot throughout the film, and it fostered solidarity and demanding prison reform. And some of the lasting impacts of the film were it had an urgent, minimalist style that inspired contemporary activism. So it wanted to inspire more voices for marginalized in society. And the last one was Spikes to Spindles. It portrays New York's Chinatown, and it focuses on the activism and police brutality and exploitation. And it comes from historical laborers, railroad laborers, to modern garment workers. So a lot of the Asian community was represented in this one. And the importance was it highlights Chinese American resistance for challenging stereotypes and advocated for labor rights. The impact was a raw activism style inspired contemporary documentaries to document marginalized communities and fight for justice. So I wanted to compare this to the Green Book. The Green Book is about a white man and an African American man um, as they travel across the U.S. in like a long time ago. I don't remember exactly what time period it was, but it was when I think it was about the 50s, 60s. And I think they related because it highlighted African American struggles um, throughout performing like as an African American during this time. And both of the this film and the films we watched foster empathy for oppressed groups. So the empathy was for the African Americans, musicians, and that related to what we watched this week. Advocated through media. So the raw aesthetics and Green Book narrative inspires social change. So the Green Book is more of a movie, less of a documentary, but they both stand for civil change. And they both reflect past injustices, urging action against ongoing inequality. So my question for the week is, do you think Green Book does a good job of representing marginalized voices, specifically African American voices? Thank you.